back up for press conference on TV.
Yeah, just walked through today.
Is this the first time y'all have done that on a Wednesday?
Towards the end of the seasons, we typically do that on Wednesdays.
How you feeling going into this week? Physically?
Yeah, I feel good. Obviously, after games, you're a little sore, but better by the day.
They asked you about your birthday?
I don't know what you mean by that. No.
What, when you went back and looked at the tape, maybe what was different about maybe how you evaluated it this time, given how you felt about your performance, you think?
Different compared to what?
Just like, was there anything different or no, same?
I just made I had some critical mental mistakes that are uncharacteristic of my play.
How do you kind of, when you kind of feel that way after a game, how do you not let that kind of seep into the rest of the week and kind of have that snowball?
It's not too hard. I've played good football for a lot of years. I'm not gonna overreact to an outlier game, in my opinion. Obviously, you got to address it and talk through the things that needed to be better, but it's certainly not a trend and not going to keep happening going forward.
Do you try to diagnose why the mental errors happen? Is the focus weighing a little bit when it's that cold, or is it the other things that you were talking about earlier in the week?
I think a lot of things went into it. First and foremost, just mistakes by me, but there were a lot of things.
Why are playing the last 3 weeks so important? You seem to be pretty adamant about that. Why does it matter to you, even though you guys are eliminated?
I like playing football. For the same reasons that I wanted to push to come back from injury, same reasons I want to play this week. It feels like everybody's trying to do everything in their power to make me not play football, and I feel like I'm fighting it, like fighting everybody else. Like I just want to play ball. That's all I want to do.
There's been a lot of speculation after last week, just in general, your comments last week. How much do you love playing football, and have you ever thought about not playing?
I mean, you think about it, but you think about a lot of different things in your life, just like everybody does. You think about all different possibilities that could happen. I'm going to be playing for a long time. I expect to play for a long time, and I expect to play well and consistently great for a long time.
Is anybody in the building trying to get you to not play?
No.
What's it like hearing, fans are like, listen, we'd like a better draft pick, we'd like to protect Joe. How frustrating is it to hear that, given all the work that you put in? I mean, what's your reaction when people kind of say stuff like that?
It's just noise to me. Obviously, fans are going to have their opinions about what their favorite teams should or shouldn't do. That's what makes this sport great. And that's why revenues are so high, and that's why we get paid so much, because the fans care a lot about what we do and who we are and all the things that come with that. So that's part of it. That's something that you have to, number one, embrace. Number two, take with a grain of salt a lot. But that comes with the territory.
Fans have their opinions, Joe, but you have your opinion, and obviously yours carries a lot more weight in the building. A report out this week that Zach's going to probably be here for the next 2 seasons. Probably not going to be any changes in the front office. I think you've been on record before saying that status quo isn't enough if we're not playing to our standard. How do you come to grips with those two realities in your mind?
Number one, I think we have great coaches. I think we're consistently put in good positions to make plays and do our best. Obviously, there's good games and bad games, just like players have good games and bad games. But I have a lot of confidence in everybody that's putting together the plans for us week in and week out. That's not to say that changes don't need to be made. I'm not saying personnel or people. I'm just saying what we've been doing hasn't worked the last couple years. So we have to think outside the box and get creative about where we go from here.
Do you think that from your conversations in years past with ownership and Duke and Zach, that the organization would be willing to take a look at it and evaluate it for what it is in terms of change might be needed in some areas?
Yeah, we all want to win. We all want to do whatever it takes to win, and we have a lot of smart people here that know how to put the right people and decision makers in place to try to be our best. We've done it before. We'll have to do it again.
Have you voiced your opinion to them, front office and ownership?
We have constant communication, a lot of conversations. That's a pretty vague question. I think.
You can be as specific as you want.
Yeah, I know I can. There's always conversations being had about different perspectives about what's happening and what's going on that are being shared.
Is there one change that you feel like would be that you particularly care about, that you feel like would be beneficial, that is the top of your list?
It's tough to say right now.
Yeah.
It's tough to say right now.
With the big changes, would you expect them to talk to you about them if they were having conversations about that, about big potential changes? Head coach, director of player, stuff like that.
I appreciate being informed of decisions that are being made. That's not to say that I need to be involved in the decision-making processes, but I enjoy being kept up to date about thought processes and decision-making trees.
Popular fan sentiment is that with you guys missing the playoffs 3 years ago, that your prime could be wasted because of you haven't been in the playoffs and hadn't had a chance to get back to where you were. When you think about the changes that we're all talking to you about, does that weigh on you where, you turned 29 and you've talked about, wanting to play for a long time, but do you think about that and really take it for what it is and hope that the organization will do that? You hope you get as many years as you can here, but right now the nucleus with you, Jamar, and Coach is here, and I'd like to see how you get yourselves back into the playoffs.
Yeah, obviously we haven't been where we want to be the last 3 years. A big part of that is injuries on my end. I've played one full season. I played 4 games this year. It's hard to make an impact on a season when you play 4 games, so that's an emphasis, obviously. Need to figure out a way to be available for everybody here. And so as far as what I can control, that's something that is on top of mind for me.
When the Bengals played the Dolphins in 2019, were you aware of what that result could have meant for you personally at the time?
I think so. I think we're at the point in the year for me where I kind of expected to go where I was going to go at that point, and I feel like I had thoughts like that. It was a long time ago now, but I believe I remember thinking something like that.
Did you watch any of that game at all?
I think we showed the highlights in a team meeting
Okay.
one of those days, something like that.
Why did those highlights end up coming up?
I think it was in a situational meeting because it was a crazy game and there were a lot of situational teaching moments in that one. So I think we were showing those.
Joe, I would imagine there are organizations in this league that either might not appreciate a player being so outspoken publicly about different issues, or just wouldn't want to hear it. How valuable to you is it that you're in a place where you feel comfortable to solicit feedback from them, but also like ownership, but also comfortable enough to speak your mind. How valuable is that?
Yeah, it's I've never had any conversations like that. I don't think I've said anything crazy. I I share what I'm comfortable sharing. Sometimes vague, sometimes specific. I think a lot in my life I fairly quiet, and so I often don't say a lot, and so people then like to fill in the gaps here and there, if that makes sense. I think about what I say a lot, and don't necessarily care what comes of it. I don't think I'm smart enough not to say things that are going to put people in bad positions. And I'm smart enough to know what to say and what not to say. And I think everybody in the building trusts that.
Do you accept the premise that you are in your prime right now, or when you see quarterbacks playing well under the 30s, do you think your prime can still be in front of you?
Well, I think people have proven that you can play at a high level for a long time. Tom Brady proved it, Peyton Manning proved it, Drew Brees proved it, Aaron Rodgers is proving it, Joe Flacco has proven it. And so, I want to be in the conversations with people like that. So, and I do everything that I need to do for my body to prepare it for these games and for long-term success. So I plan on doing it for a long time at a high level.
On Sunday, you said not that far when asked how close this organization was to getting back to those big stages. Why do you think you guys are not that far?
Well, we have young guys that are getting better. I think we have really smart coaches. We have a lot of highly talented people that go out and perform at a high level on Sundays, week in and week out. It's hard for me to talk about the totality of the season this year because I was removed from it for so long, and I haven't had a season. I've played 4 games, and that's frustrating to me, and kind of made me feel like I was on the outside looking in for a lot of it because that's what happens. And so I'm just getting my feet wet again with all this, and it feels good, but I feel confident in the people that we have here.
In your mind, do you think you guys would be right there had you just stayed healthy? Or do you not even let yourself go down that?
A lot of what ifs in that situation.
Obviously, you and Tua are going to be linked together for a long time because we all in the same draft class and having the 19 seasons y'all did. Just out of curiosity, do you think it's that everyone talks about that game y'all had against Bama in 19, how stacked those rosters were? Do you think that's going to be possible again, given the way college football's changed?
No, I think that's part of the change in landscape with NIL. I think you see a lot of different teams in the playoffs year in and year out. It's not just the Alabamas, Ohio States, and LSU's and Clemson's and Oklahoma's anymore. Yeah, those teams are still making it, some of them not, but with the expanded playoff, with NIL, with all these different rules now, the town is so much more dispersed across all these different schools, and I think that's been, for the most part, good for the on-field product and competitiveness. Obviously, there's downsides to that, certainly, off the field, but I think for the most part, on the field, it's been good.
There's only so much speculation. Is there any world in your mind where you're not the quarterback of the Bengals next year?
I can't see that, no.
Have you ever thought about the possibility of not being the quarterback here during your career, or
You think about a lot of things.
when you look at quarterbacks over the course of their time, great ones, Hayden, Brady, you kind of have to understand that you never know what this league will bring, and what did you learn from watching how their careers unfolded?
Yeah, a lot of crazy things happen every year. Micah Parsons got traded right before the season, I think this year. That is something I hadn't seen in a long time in the NFL. So crazy things can happen.
Joe, I know like you say these last 3 games for Miami City. What kind of meaning do you think they carry for guys outside of the core that you have to kind of show that they can be part of the plans and what's going to be a big offseason to help you guys get back to where you feel like you can be?
Yeah, anytime you get the opportunity to strap up the pads and put the cleats on and go in the front of the world and prove your worth, prove all the hard work that you've put in, prove that you're improving week to week. That's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to get better and better ourselves. And we have 3 opportunities to do that. When I wanted to come back, obviously you want to make the playoffs and you want to make a run and all of that, but that was kind of tertiary in my mind. I just wanted to get back out there and play and put on a show and try to play well and produce.
Do you ever cross paths with Quinn Ewers at any point?
Never have.
Yeah, I assume you've seen the news where he's supposed to start. Do you think back at all to your first career start in a different situation, Heisman winner, #1 pick, 7th round pick, but just how much your head might have been swimming that first game?
Yeah, certainly different situations. I had a full off season to prepare. He's getting thrown in there in week 14 with basically 1 week of practice as the starter. So that's certainly not the easiest position to be in, but that's a situation that you can find yourself in.
How different is the defense of the Dolphins from the Ravens?
Pretty similar scheme. They like to use Minka, kind of like the Ravens use Kyle Hamilton. So we'll see if Minka ends up playing or not. But you always got to be aware of where he's at. I think their front is very disruptive, explosive. They play well together. So just like every week, it's going to be a challenge.
What's it been like over the last week? People dissecting the move of the presser? It seems. What's it been like to kind of see people going needs that much on kind of how your disposition's been over the last 7 years?
That's how it goes. That's how it goes. Certainly had some texts that didn't make a lot of sense to me after all that, but it is what it is.
You gonna tell us what was in the Pokemon box?
I didn't open it yet. I don't know if I should open it or not yet. I think I have to figure out if this is something that might be more valuable in 10 years if you don't open it than otherwise. So I got some research to do.
Since you're talking about presents, have you figured out what you're getting in the offensive line yet?
Have I ever told you guys what I'm going to get them? Well, not for me.
When are you giving it to?
Next Monday.
Did they ask for guns again?
No, they didn't ask for guns this time. They know better.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, thanks.